I'm literally holding resumes, a stack of them, so that I can go in person to places and say, are you guys hiring?
My parents spent over $250,000 to put me through MIT, and now I'm unemployed.
They lied to you. For decades, the deal was simple. You take on the debt, you get the degree, and you get the safety premium, a guaranteed ticket to the middle class. But in 2026, that contract didn't just break. It has been liquidated.
College graduates are facing one of the most challenging markets for entry-level jobs in a decade.
For the first time since 1980, recent college graduates have a higher unemployment rate than the general workforce. 5.8% versus 4%. That's not supposed to happen. College graduates are supposed to be safer, more employable, the smart bet. As it stands right now, a silent heist is taking place in the global economy. And contrary to the headlines, it's not about robots stealing your job. It is simply about math. You see, corporations have discovered a new arbitrage. They can now buy the exact same cognitive output your $100,000 degree promised to deliver. But they can buy it for way cheaper than it would have cost them to pay you. While universities were hiking tuition by 300% over the last few decades, artificial intelligence was driving the cost of intelligence effectively to zero. This isn't just a tough job market, it is a structural wealth transfer. Money is moving from your bank account to theirs. And if you are holding a generic degree today, you are not holding an asset. On the contrary, you are holding the bag. And here is the proof. To understand the heist, you have to look at the setup. We call it the financialization of education. Because this crisis wasn't an accident, it was a business model. Go back to the year 2000. For the next 22 years, the Consumer Price Index, the cost of living, rose by an average of 1.9% a year. Wages barely kept pace, rising about 2.1%. But public university tuition? That skyrocketed by 4.8% annually, every single year. That is more than double the rate of inflation. Universities realized they had a captive market backed by federally guaranteed loans. They stopped operating like schools. They started operating like hedge funds with classrooms attached to them. They bloated their administrative layers. They built luxury amenities to attract customers. And they passed the entire bill to you in the form of debt. Today, that debt pile stands at roughly $1.7 trillion. But here is the mechanism that made the trap work. The degree was sold as a proxy for competence. It was a signal. Employers paid a premium for that signal because human intelligence was scarce. If you wanted a junior analyst, you had to hire a graduate. There was no alternative. So you paid the tuition, took the loan, and trusted the ladder would be there. But that entire model relied on one assumption: that human intelligence would remain expensive and scarce. In late 2022, that assumption evaporated. Now stop thinking like a student for a second. Think like a CFO. To a corporation, a junior employee is a massive liability. You are slow, you require training, you demand benefits, insurance, and office space. And legally, you are hard to fire. For decades, companies accepted this cost because they had no choice. They paid you to learn on the job so that one day you might become profitable. That was the junior analyst social contract. But then the unit economics changed, and they changed fast. Let's look at the token. In the world of AI, a token is the unit of work, a piece of a word or code. When the GPT-4 model first arrived on the scene in late 2022, high-level reasoning was expensive. It cost roughly $20 to process 1 million tokens. That was already cheaper than a human, but it was still a cost. Fast forward to late 2025. Through optimization and hardware scaling, that same million tokens dropped to around 40 cents. This is a 50-fold price reduction in 3 years. Let me put that in perspective. A junior analyst in New York or London costs the company at least $30 an hour. In that hour, they might produce 5 pages of analysis or 200 lines of code. For 40 cents, less than the price of a postage stamp, artificial intelligence can generate hundreds of pages of that same analysis instantly. This created a lethal arbitrage. Now the skeptics will say, but artificial intelligence hallucinates. It makes mistakes. And they are right. In early 2023, models had error rates near 40%. But by late 2025, that dropped to under 10% for many tasks. The trend line is undeniable. But here is the terrifying part. The skeptics miss, even with an error rate, the unit economics still win. If a junior costs $400 to draft a report and artificial intelligence costs 40 cents, a company can run the AI 10 times, hire a senior editor to check the work for an hour, and still do the entire job for a fraction of the cost. The hallucination isn't a wall, it's a speed bump, and they are paving over it. The junior role hasn't just been automated, it has been priced out of existence. Now, you might be saying, but wait, the unemployment numbers look low. There are help wanted signs everywhere. This is the most dangerous part of the heist, the smokescreen. Because if you look at the real data, the job market for graduates isn't healthy. It's a hologram. We are living in the era of the ghost job. Recent investigations have found that up to 21% of job postings on major boards are fake. These are positions with no intent to hire.
Job scam text messages and fake job postings are on the rise. That's according to the Federal Trade Commission. And they are targeting the millions of Americans hunting for work and taking advantage of a slowing job market.
So, why do they exist? Companies post them to stockpile resumes. They post them to make investors think they are growing. They post them to terrify their existing employees into working harder. See? We're looking for your replacement. But nobody gets the job. Since early 2024, the gap between job openings and actual hires in the US has widened by millions per month. It is phantom demand. But the ghost jobs are only the passive side of the heist. The active side is what we call the Great Restructuring. You've seen the headlines. In 2023, the tech sector laid off over 260,000 workers. They told us it was just a post-pandemic correction. But then came 2024 and 2025. The layoffs didn't stop. They mutated. In 2025 alone, US tech companies cut another 127,000 jobs. And this time, they didn't blame the pandemic. They blamed the pivot. Amazon eliminated roughly 30,000 corporate roles in late 2025 and early 2026. At the exact same time, they announced a $200 billion investment in AI infrastructure. Amazon's CEO explicitly admitted that AI would lead to fewer people doing some of the jobs. Translation? They are clearing the payroll to buy GPUs. It is a direct capital swap. They are firing middle management humans to hire NVIDIA H100s. So when you see those entry-level doors slamming shut, understand the context. Big tech companies, the gold standard for new grads, slashed entry-level hiring from 15% pre-pandemic to just 7% in 2024. But the real catastrophe is in the startup world. Before the pandemic, startups hired entry-level talent at a rate of nearly 30%. Today, that number has collapsed to under 6%. That pathway didn't just shrink, it was effectively deleted. For the roles that remain, they are using a strategy called no hire, no fire. When a senior employee leaves, they don't backfill the role with a junior. They just buy more software. They are silently replacing attrition with automation.
AI replacing some human workers. Major companies like Microsoft, Walmart, and Business Insider are laying off employees amid the rise of artificial intelligence in the workplace.
Well, Procter & Gamble is saying that it'll cut up to 7,000 jobs. Although they did not use the word AI, they used the word digitization and automation. So I think that sounds like AI.
So you graduate, you apply to hundreds of openings, and you hear nothing. Not because you aren't qualified, but because the job was never real in the first place. So, where does this leave you? If you are playing by the old rules, you are the passenger. You are the 2024 grad with $39,000 in federal debt. You did everything right, but you are entering a market where your labor is competing against a deflating currency, the AI token. You are leveraged and stranded. Your debt is fixed, but your earning power is falling. But there is another archetype, the pilot. These are the operators who looked at the arbitrage and switched sides. They aren't trying to compete with the AI. They are becoming the conductors. They realized that if the cost of doing the work is zero, the value shifts to directing the work. They are building agencies of one. They are using that 40-cent token cost to undercut the massive agencies that are still charging clients for human hours. They don't have a junior analyst job. They replaced the junior analyst. The conclusion is harsh, but it is necessary. The era of the degree as a safety net is over. If you are in university right now or you just graduated, stop waiting for the system to save you. The system is the one extracting value from you. The universities will keep raising tuition, the lenders will keep collecting interest, and the corporations will keep buying tokens. Nobody is coming to cancel the debt. And nobody is coming to give you that entry-level training year. You have to build your own leverage. Look for the safe zones, the trades, the high-touch roles, the physical world where AI cannot reach. Or go all in on the arbitrage. Become the person who manages the machines, not the person the machine replaces. Because the middle class was a creation of the 20th century economic order, and that order has been rescinded. The contract is broken. It's time to write a new one. Now I know the question's screaming in your head at the moment. Okay, the system is rigged, the degree is dead, but what do I actually do tomorrow morning? I didn't want to just leave you with a diagnosis. I wanted to give you the weapon. I have compiled a tactical dossier called the Sovereign Protocol. This isn't a generic newsletter. It is an operational roadmap designed to move you from passenger to pilot. Inside, you will find the diagnostic matrix to identify your specific profile based on your interests, time, capital, and skill set. We break down the safe zones, the specific trades and high-touch roles where artificial intelligence cannot follow. And most importantly, we give you the offensive protocols, the exact tech resources you need to start learning the fundamentals and orchestrating the machines instead of competing with them. While I may not be able to do the work for you, I can give you the map, and it's completely free. You can find the link in the description below the video. It has been a pleasure, and I bid you farewell until next time on Foundry Matters.